Hello and welcome to the Rhythm Changes podcast. My name is Chris Fraser. I'm your host. Thank you for joining me. Today's conversation is with a Juno Award-winning guitarist and composer, as well as vocalist, lyricist, educator, storyteller. It was my pleasure to welcome Mike Rudd onto the podcast to talk about many things, not least his new record, The Paranormal Adventures of Uncle Mike, a record that I absolutely loved as soon as I listened to it. I think it's such a great record, and I gushed plenty about it to Mike on the episode, so you can keep listening for all of that. This was an awesome conversation. It was really great for him to talk about life, his experience making this record. It was made in 3 different cities, including Paris. His love of cheap Ibanez hollow body guitars. I haven't had an episode with this many quotes, I don't think, or at least this broad of a well of quotes, where he quoted John Abercrombie, Socrates, and he quoted L. Ron Hubbard. So we get all over the place with this one, but yeah, it was just really great to have him, and I hope you enjoy our conversation. So you just got in from the island.
Yep.
You're making a collection of Ibanez hollow body guitars.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why that is. When I see them really cheap, something in me kind of breaks. And like if it's under $400 and it looks like a nice Ibanez hollow body,
this
I can't help myself.
Like an Art Star or something, or
yeah, I don't even know what they're called.
Right,
they seem to make like 9,000 flavors.
They make a lot of them.
Yeah, and none of them is really all that different from another one.
Yeah,
you know.
But have you always been an Ibanez man?
In as much as brands matter to me, which is not much, but yeah. Right. Something I really just am attracted to the idea of a guitar that's really sounds nice, easy to play, cheap enough that it could get smashed on the way home from the gig, and I would not care at all. That's really appeals to me. I don't
Has
want
anything
them
like that happened to you?
No. In fact, once I bought an Aria hollow body.
Right, Aria, yeah.
Because it was $300.
Sure.
And because I had 2 toddler daughters, and I wanted to be in the habit of leaving a guitar out where I could reach it, so I'd always be liable to practice.
Yes.
And that thing never got a scratch on it.
Wow.
I kept it out the whole time. They never came near it.
Yeah.
It's almost like I Murphy's Law'd my way. You know what I mean? If you get that, if that had been an expensive guitar, it would be obliterated.
Right. So you used Murphy's Law to your advantage.
That's right.
Yeah. So
that's right.
Because if it were to be damaged, it wouldn't be the worst thing. So
it wouldn't matter. I was almost wanting it to happen, so I could an exercise in Zen-like patience. But it didn't even that. Nothing happened. I sold it years later.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's good. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. You can see my guitars here. This is a Squier Stratocaster.
Yeah, I love those Squier products, man.
Yeah, it's really, really great.
It's a similar thing. There are a lot of guitar for not too much money. I do
professional work with it, and it sounds like a Stratocaster.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's nothing about it that doesn't sound right. I also have this guitar is an Eastman.
Lovely Eastman. I love those things, yeah.
And they're expensive now, but when I bought it about 13 years ago now.
Yeah,
it was just under $1,000.
That was the time to get in on Eastman.
Yeah. I bought it for $950 new.
Yeah,
and it's so funny. Like, I bet you've experienced this kind of thing if you're playing Ibanez's a lot of the time. Which is, I remember I played Jazz Fest in the summer, and it was a great show. I'm playing my Eastman, and this. We finished playing, and this guy comes up to me, and he says, like, "Great set, why do you play an Eastman? Why don't you play a Gibson or something?"
Right.
And all I could think was, I don't know, why do you drive a Hyundai?
Yeah, exactly.
This is my guitar. It was I could afford it at the time, and
that's the one you get to know.
At. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Do you ever get people like asking specifically why Ibanez, or?
I think the people. I do a lot of having to do with the same 60 people over and over again.
Sure.
So they've known me for decades now, and they know Mike's just broken in this way where he just, and I've tried, and for a long time I had kind of a policy that I didn't like to try, sort of grown up guitars because it would make me want one.
Right.
And I could even hear something in the sound of those Gibsons that I'm like, oh yeah, there's a thing in that's missing.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, fine, let it be missing.
Well, yeah. I think that's really good, because like, totally, people get so hung up on gear, and the only reason I can imagine is because they're trying to recreate a sound that they heard on the record.
Yeah, a really great sound.
Yeah.
You can see how they fall in love with it.
Yeah.
It was never the dimension of my favorite musicians that stood out to me the most.
Yeah.
Now that I get older, I realize, that was a part of me that was kind of not functioning. Like all my favorite players, they almost always they like all the same stuff I like, plus they have this awareness of texture and of like the personality of a sound that I just never had. I don't know, so it's part of who I am. It's fine.
Well, I mean, you say that, but I mean, we could jump into, I was listening to Paranormal Adventures.
Yeah.
Your guitar tone on that is immaculate. It sounds so good.
So thank you. That's actually got to do with the guy that produces it. That's Paul
I'm sure
Johnston.
it does, but
he's done my last 4 albums.
Okay, yeah.
And he's obsessed with.
It sounds amazing.
It's great the way he made that Ibanez. I've had that. That's my main guitar.
Okay,
it's this blonde Ibanez.
Okay, nice.
That my dad bought me when I was 17.
No way.
Yeah, so it's a Japanese
wow.
Ibanez from
okay.
1984.
So that's like a collector.
I guess so. Yeah.
At this point,
there's a great guitar player who went through our program at Selkirk in Nelson who lives here named Jake Kostachuk.
I know him. Yeah, I know Jake. Yeah.
So Jake's found another blonde FG100 Ibanez, and I want it so bad. I want. Yeah. So if something suddenly happens to Jake, tell the RCMP to look me up. Yeah. I just see that thing and I think, mine. Give it to me.
Someday.
Plus, he's probably playing stuff on it I can't play.
I don't know about that, man.
Jerk.
Yeah. Who knows? Other people should be allowed to play Ibanez.
No, yeah, of course.
It's not.
Of course,
they're not just for you. No, and I do like Ibanez, like the Ibanez neck. Like man. I think that feels
nice and easy to play.
And
that's one of the other reasons I keep buying the same one too. Is they all kind of feel like the same guitar.
Yeah,
and I'm used to that one. That's,
right. Yeah.
After that, I stopped caring, and I just what are the chords? What are which paranormal event will I be writing about?
Yeah, and
today?
You're saving so much money, so you can have an Ibanez for your main home. You can have an Ibanez for the summer home.
Okay,
an
dude.
Ibanez for the.
You're kidding, but I have one that I leave at my buddy's apartment in Montreal.
Great, there you go. Yeah.
I'm back there for a month every summer.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and that one was $300 from a recently graduated McGill student.
Right.
Off Facebook Marketplace.
It's kind of like what bass players do. They don't want to fly with their bass, so they just have like a bass for their city B.
Yeah, like that Paranormal Adventures album.
Yeah.
We recorded the bass and drum tracks in Paris.
I read that.
Yeah, and so that's the only time I've ever left North America.
Wow, really?
And as I flew back, I put that thing in its gig bag, my main guitar in its gig bag on one of those long belts. Mm-hmm. But sometimes they're not moving and they're just sitting there. They're going to start it up later in the day at their leisure. And I walk away from it. And the woman who saw me and told me to check it in on there, she saw me kind of looking back at it like a scared dog.
Yeah.
Like, here, I'm just leaving it in Charles de Gaulle Airport, just sitting there. Anybody could just walk up and take it. And she's like, it's okay. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And indeed it was.
What kind was it in a hard case?
Yeah, it's in one of those bags made by that Trick company, TRIC bags.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not especially fond of it. I was hoping one of these days I'll buy a proper gig bag for it again.
Yeah, you're probably going to end up spending more than you did on the guitar.
Probably, yeah. Probably. Yep.
It's a good insurance policy, I guess, if you're going to be flying. Why in particular were those tracks recorded in Paris?
Well, yeah, I know. It's kind of the equivalent of going to Brazil to buy a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Right? Well, it's my friend Carl Januska is the drummer on it, and he's been living in Paris for about 25 years.
Okay.
I played with him. He's originally from Brandon, Manitoba.
Okay.
And he was on my final... It's not really a record I made, but it is a record-length thing I did in Montreal in the late 90s for my master's degree.
Okay.
And I just really loved his playing.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd always been looking for an excuse to play with him. And I've never seen Paris. I wanted to go over and see it.
Absolutely.
So I went over and had a look.
Yeah, that's a great,
a
great excuse, of course.
Yeah, and it was set. And I don't think I ever need to, other than to play with him.
Yeah.
and people like him, I don't think I ever need to go again. It kind of scratched the itch.
Yeah.
All my life I had dreamt of, what's it like over there, and blah, blah, blah. And it was really amazing. It was like, okay, this is like a giant combination of Montreal and New York.
Yeah.
My French works here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, a lot of great musicians. I took some lessons with this amazing swing guy that Dennis Chang recommended to me, a guy named Lorenzo Cortez. He's originally Colombian.
Yeah.
And that was wonderful. Had a couple of lessons with him and went and sat in with him and his friends at this club called Le Génie.
Cool.
And wow. Amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what was the process then? So you have bass and drums recording together.
Yeah.
Which is... naturally.
Well, I played with them and sang scratch tracks. So
I see. Okay,
they had charts sent to them a month ahead of that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you recorded it kind of trio.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
But
then we added stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Remind me of the piano player's name.
Oh, that's he's a very fine pianist. That's Chris Andrew.
Chris Andrew.
Yeah. Who I think is originally from someplace in BC, but he moved very early on to Edmonton, or maybe I'm wrong about where he's from. He's an Edmonton guy.
Oh, okay.
And he's kind of, the grand old man of even though he's younger than me, of like Alberta jazz piano.
Okay.
Yeah.
He sounds amazing on that record.
Wonderful.
I feel like it's like because he's also playing
accordion
synth
and synth. Yeah.
The synth solo on.
Isn't that juicy?
Oh my gosh!
It's a nice patch too. It sounds like the old Hill Street Blues.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's like it's kind of a surprise to hear that, but there's all over the record. There's like this sort of like synth soundscape thing happening.
Yeah, and some of those are my synth pedal.
Oh really?
Yeah. I have one of those Roland SY1.
Oh no way!
Pedals. A little bit of it is, and I play some organ on it in one point.
Oh nice.
Yeah, but a lot of it too is Chris just had this beautiful controller and these just these bank vault of different sounds he had access to. So.
Yeah, man, and the duo tracks, the standards you play, Tennessee Waltz and Jitterbug Waltz. The piano playing on those.
Isn't he a magnificent player?
It's so good.
Oh, I'm so
just
glad
both
you like
of you.
it,
But I mean, like it kind of it ends up being like secondarily, like he's very featured in it. So I just wanted to say I thought his playing was so.
I'm
awesome
so happy to hear you say it. Well, initially it was going to be my roommate. It was going to be David Restivo, the piano player that I live with, but he had to cancel at the last second.
Okay.
And lucky me.
Yeah, I'm sure David would have been great.
Oh yeah, he's always great.
Yeah.
But Chris and I had, years ago we did a bunch of casuals and stuff together in Edmonton when I lived there, and so it was a good chance to get back together. Great guy, and he, amazingly efficient. Like
cool.
Just take after take after take, all sorts of gems.
Yeah.
And super musical guy.
That's awesome. Like what a cool group you put together for the record. Have you been able to play together once?
Every CD launch band has been different people.
Yeah.
So in Montreal it was Kate Wyatt and Adrian Vidati.
Okay.
And Rich Irwin. It was really beautiful players. And then in Calgary it was John McCaslin and who was our bass player? Oh, it was Cody Hutchinson, guy who books so much of the stuff there. He's a great bass player too. Mm-hmm. And David Restivo came along with me for that.
Okay, great.
And here it's Tilden and Jody and Jesse.
Yes.
It's all old friends, basically.
Totally, yeah.
And then in the Kootenays, I've been doing it with different, groups of associates and friends there too, in Nelson and Vernon.
Awesome, yeah. Would you have been at McGill at the same time as the three of them? Jody and Tilden?
Yeah,
and Jesse?
Tilden and I did undergrad together, and we did our masters there around the same time, and Jody was doing her undergrad. Jody and Jesse were my house band at a place on Park Avenue called the No Name Deli.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I had a thing that was an echo of a previous Wednesday night regular gig I had on the McGill campus. They were called Iron Mike and the Jazz Dogs.
Okay.
That would be the late 80s, early 90s.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Man, I just realized the other day that when I started McEwen's music program in 1988, 1986.
Okay.
That's 40 years ago already.
This year it would be, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm about 24 years old, like in terms of my wisdom level,
sure,
ability to, regulate my emotions and stuff. But no, that's 40 years ago I started that program.
Wow, yeah. I mean, I run into that realization once in a while. You know, I think it's not the same, but I started at Capilano 17 years ago this year.
Yeah, it goes by really
yeah,
fast.
Yeah. I remember seeing you. You came to Cap one year, and I believe you sung and played on the sunny side of the street.
I always do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Playing was so good. Have you always been singing on your records?
Not on the records.
Yeah.
No, it took me a long time to.
Yeah.
It really was Paul Johnston, the producer. He did my Montreal album, the one that won us the Juno Award. And then he
that's
did,
with Sienna.
That's with Sienna on it. Yeah. And then he did my next one, which is this solo guitar and singing record called Miniatures.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he did the one I did with Peter Bernstein, and then he did this one. So he's recorded me. We're a real sort of a team.
Awesome.
Nice and when we were making Notes on Montreal, that one, we were just wrapping up some of the stuff for the final thing, and then he said, "No, you're going to put some backing vocals on this track." And I went, "I don't know," because the only stuff I had recorded of my voice to that point had been really abysmal.
Okay.
And he said, no, we got to get your voice on this thing someplace. And so we did. And then at the gigs, I started doing more and more of it because it always it's always. It kind of goes over well with crowds. People just like a voice. They like words.
Yeah, I mean the showmanship is it just doubles the engagement. You know, like I have to rely on having good banter to get the crowd on my side early in the gig. You know, like
that's right.
Crack a joke really quick, and then
I think a lot of jazz.
Them on your side, and
I think a lot of performed schooled jazz suffers from a real presentation problem.
I agree.
You know,
this is something
we do a lot to alienate the audience.
Oh yeah,
you got to bring them in.
I'm such a crotchety old man about that kind of thing because I feel like I know they mean well, and I know this is just kind of the general sentiment of what I find, at least, of like the Gen Z generation and younger now of musicians. But I feel like there's this sort of like need to be like almost overly sincere with presentation,
right? To
the point where you're kind of showing the audience how the sausage is made a bit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I feel like I'm like an old school showbiz guy where I'm just like, don't break the illusion. You know? Like,
I have a feeling that interacts with how honest do you feel doing which thing. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, well, I tend to overshare and over disclose, but I've worked out a lot of my banter. Like, I just have my favorite ways of putting things. And, I can't I'm real, what's the word? Verbose on mic. I do a lot of talking, but I try to keep it light, tight, and bright. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I really, because I like to write songs, right? And
totally, yeah.
What I don't like is how a lot of songwriting became. Oh, I read it in. There was an early book about lyric writing called "The Art of Crafting Lyrics."
Okay.
The Art of Lyric Writing. Anyway, where she said too much lyric writing now resembles an embarrassing therapy session.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's it's a little mean. Because the thing is, the industry for how we present went further that way since she wrote that. Like it really went in that direction, and that's one of the reasons I like to write about these cockamamie things.
Sure.
They can't possibly be from my life.
Yeah.
I still like writing. I still like stories. I still like goofy narrative.
Well, fiction.
Yeah.
Why can't your the subject of your stuff just be fiction? I feel like, there was
made it up.
This era of the contemporary, especially the jazz world. I feel like, everything is about like something you saw or something.
Yeah.
Someplace you've been. Notes on Montreal, but I mean that's a little bit
in that one
because you're
I based that all on literature.
Exactly.
I piggybacked. I took observations good writers had made.
Yeah.
And it was like, these are great observations about the city. I don't have those powers of observation, but I can crib theirs from them and write about that.
You're almost a critic in a way.
A little, or a thief. I remember seeing an interview with Elvis Costello where he said all writers were thieves and magpies.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's about it. I find shiny things and bring them back to my nest, and I like that a lot. Some of my favorite people are those kind of. They're in what you would call the confessional mode, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's really legit if that's in the person's personality, and there's a lot of craft swirled into it.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
And then some people are all craft.
Yeah.
Yeah. I recently was like, you know what? I got to work a lot harder on my lyrics.
I think your lyrics are really great. I think they work really well because I feel like you're committed to the poetry of the lyrics.
Well, thank you kindly.
And the rhymes work, and the subject matter is urban legends and stuff, and
I love that
feels
stuff so much.
It feels very out there. I think it's like campy.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
No question.
I mean that as a compliment.
I take that as a compliment.
It's full camp, and I think
man.
And I think it works really well. And I think your ability to sing about this subject matter while still like maintaining a level of reverence for the story, rather than there being some kind of like ironic detachment or something about it. Like,
no, I don't really do that very well.
You're fully in the lane of like, I'm telling you this story right now.
Yeah. I'm like, I won't quite ever. You'll never get me to 100% admit unambiguously that none of this stuff ever happened.
Yeah, totally.
Because some part of me, I don't think I wrote it down anywhere, but one way I like to think of it is, it's too important to worry whether it really happened.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
because that's what allegory is. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
and then some of those are allegory. Like the one about the sea monster is about my divorce.
That
right?
It's great.
And it even ends with I've had to resist the tendency to end these with like a little sermon, like the last line of that is a little stinger, right?
It really is. It's the moral of the story.
That's right. And
really
I have to hold back from being this little Catholic homily guy at the end, because I tend to want to put that at the end of everything as if to say, here's what the point of the song was all along. But once in a while, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like your background is with learning jazz standards, and so many of those tunes are written that way because it's at the end of a musical number,
right?
And like people haven't been listening to all the lyrics; they've been watching the dancing or the set design, and then the end of the song happens. They're like, okay, this is what's happening in the song right now.
You shouldn't, though. Musical. Can't you see what you mean to me? And the meaning of the words "mean to me" shifts there syntactically and underlines the narrative meaning of it.
Totally,
right?
yeah. I like to. A lot of the time, I like to analogize composition with writing jokes, because really what you're doing is you have a punchline, you have a concept that you want to get across, and so the rest of it is just a setup to that.
Yeah.
Right. So, is this so the sea monster story?
Yeah.
This is just like an urban legend from that.
No, I made it up. It had to do with being bored. I would go to Pigeon Lake as a kid all the time.
Okay, yeah.
We had relatives that had property there.
Yeah,
and I would go there, and it's lovely. Like prairie lakes are really humble little things. They're just sort of really nice glorified mud puddles.
Yeah.
And so there's no sea monster. There's barely even fish there, I don't think.
Right. Yeah.
So I'd be wishing, as a little kid, and that gigantic sky, same thing that made me want to conjure up the UFOs. Like, I wish something magical would materialize.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's more what I wanted there to be, but no, nobody even hinted at it.
Right. Okay.
I mean, it might exist.
Well, maybe now. Yeah, you've created the myth.
That's right. Maybe now it'll start to exist somehow. But that one I tied into Godzilla a lot, right? I danced around it.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't know how litigious.
I was trying to imagine what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, I made him just different enough from Godzilla that I couldn't get dinged by
Warner Brothers or
Toho.
Yeah.
But that's why it specifically says in 54.
Yeah.
I was feeling lonely, so I went ashore.
The
people in Japan, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not officially Godzilla, you dig?
I see.
It's Schmodzilla.
Right, yeah. He's a sea monster. That's all.
It's a sea monster who may be a cousin.
Right.
Yeah, and he was there and then I really just wanted to write about an actual sea monster, and then at the end I thought, it'd be a lonely character, a sea monster. Maybe he talks me through my divorce. Right. And then that's what he does. He's be a good guy to do that.
Yeah, you're characterizing, you're humanizing all of these monster characters.
Right? A little.
Like the witch,
man. There's the one in the Haunted House song.
Oh yeah.
There's some stuff in there I won't even say outside of the song. It's so it's
that
so
dark,
almost over a line. Yeah. It's that one. The concept of it scares me, and the only reason I don't get actually scared by it is that I ripped it all off other places. So it was better the first time around.
Yeah, but but I also feel like that's in keeping with the aesthetic of the record anyway, because you're going for this Pulp Fiction
already established
cover. They're all using the exact same story beats. All of those writers,
totally.
There's nothing necessarily groundbreaking about any of that
not
writing.
Remotely. No, it's pretty pro forma that way.
Yeah, except for the odd Philip K. Dick masterpiece that he accidentally wrote in like an afternoon or something, and then after besides that, it's all just beer money that those guys were making. There's
that interview. Oh my God! If you ever want to laugh endlessly, speaking of comedy, so what's his name? Paul F. Thompson. You know this guy?
Paul F. Tompkins?
Tompkins.
Oh, yeah.
Paul F. Tompkins.
Yeah.
Did a podcast for a while called the Dead Authors Podcast.
Okay.
And in it, he does it in front of a live audience. And
cool.
He has his comedian buddies, one at a time, come in, and each of them on a different episode plays a different figure from history that he's interviewing.
Oh, wow.
Different author from history. So he's playing H.G. Wells, who's gone back in his time machine.
Oh, of course.
To bring,
okay, there you go.
One time it's Plato, another time it's Anna Freud, and another time it's and 2 episodes are with the comedian Andy Daly, this great improv comedian,
Andy Daly. He's so funny,
as L. Ron Hubbard. And he researched it first, like
another
crazy.
Another pulp author, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. But I've looked up 3/4 of the stuff that he claims in persona as L. Ron.
Oh yeah,
and it's true. Like the stuff he makes it sound like the sheerest nonsense. Like, and it's
like in character, what he's saying about himself.
These things. Yeah,
right.
And it's like you couldn't make it up crazier than it really was about this guy, right? So, and one of them, I mean, it's more about him as an author as anything, is that he would write onto butcher paper. Like he had like the big rolls of butcher paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's amazing. I can't recommend it highly enough. You just look up Dead Authors Podcast.
Oh man, that sounds great.
L. Ron Hubbard. It's 2 hours of gold.
That's so funny.
He talks about having been the he always talks up everything he ever did.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
And at one point he claims to have been the commander of McDonald's and the chancellor of Arby's. He was brought into these, because he just invents these really puffed up titles for himself, right? Yeah, he claims that he was the chancellor of Arby's, and how he changed the corporation from this. He's always making himself into an admiral or something like that.
Okay,
right? It's what he did in the Sea Organization. I'm going to get sued now by Scientology.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I should back off on this.
Hopefully there aren't any Sea Org members.
Oh my God!
In the 100 people listening to this podcast.
Cut this whole part out, please.
Yeah. That sounds really funny. Yeah, I think Andy Daly's so
oh, they're
too.
funny, those guys.
Is it improv kind of like
they
kind of like do their research?
If it's not, it feels just like improv. Yeah, that amazes
so
me
funny.
how much their craft has in common with
absolutely
what we do.
Yeah.
And I know when I listen to it, I'm like, I could not begin to do what
it's
these
terrifying.
Guys are doing.
Yeah,
it's
especially at the high levels of it. Like, have you heard of
Blows my
improvised
mind.
Shakespeare?
No.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, a little bit like making up counterpoint as you go along.
A little bit, yeah.
Right?
I think, I guess that is
very
kind of
rule
like
bound, highly
Absolutely.
formalized thing that once you know the language well enough, you can do it.
Yeah, and at the very least, you can fake it.
Right?
Yeah.
Fake it well enough to fool Mike Rudd. It doesn't take that much.
Yeah.
Have you seen that video of Ted Green improvising counterpoint on his guitar?
Of course.
Isn't that unreal?
Yeah, hundreds of times. It's and the funny thing is that he's doing it as a lesson.
Yeah.
He doesn't know he's on camera, or he doesn't realize he
doesn't
on
care.
camera.
Yeah.
There's just a guy. He has a lesson with Ted, and he's just like, "Can you do that thing again, really quick?" He like turns the camera on. He's like, "Can you show me that one more time?"
Yeah, sure.
And he's explaining what he's doing theoretically.
Unreal.
And and playing it, and then he says, "All right, well, ask me whatever questions you have."
It's a
and
mind
and the
blower.
guys,
Decades before Gillard Hexelman is around.
yeah, I know,
Right.
and the student is just like, I'm just kind of watching you do this, man. Like, I don't really know if I could ask you anything about this.
Yeah, I'd have to study it enough to know what my questions are.
Exactly. Yeah. It's such a funny kind of perfect like portrait of Ted too, where there's just like piles of like probably music.
This is what we want to
like,
believe, that these guys like lived in these cells like monks.
Totally.
And,
yeah.
Which some
I
of
mean,
them
if
did.
anybody was monastic
Yeah.
as a jazz guitar player, it's probably Ted Green. He only has the one record, the one
Really?
solo
so just
record?
one Ted Green record?
Yeah, that solo record where he, like every once in a while, I just listen to the Danny Boy recording from that solo guitar.
It's
record.
astonishing that how little some of these guys recorded, given the capacious nature of their abilities. You know?
Yeah. I mean, well, that is funny about jazz, eh? Like it's recording it is. It's a different thing from performing it.
Yeah.
It feels totally different.
Yeah.
And so it probably is just like one of those things that, like, for someone who's just sort of a pure artist and doesn't really think about the idea of commodifying what they do.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't occur to them to record, really.
That's
right?
hard for me to get my head around.
Yeah.
I've often told people that if it weren't for jazz guitar, for
Yeah.
me, I'd be doing like balloon animals or
Totally.
anything
Oh
to
my
keep
God,
people.
yeah.
I'm an entertainer.
Yeah, totally. It is funny that I feel the same way. You know, if I wasn't a musician, I have no idea what I could do with whatever skill I would have left over. Right? Like, I guess maybe I'd just be a podcaster. Who knows? But no, man, this record is so cool. And I wanted to ask you, maybe people have said this before. Maybe have you? Because I've been playing in the last little bit. I've been doing a lot of work with musical theater.
Yeah.
And has it crossed your mind to like turn this into a stage production?
What, to turn what into a stage? Oh, the
Paranormal
paranormal
Adventures.
No, I'm far too lazy for that.
Sure,
I have a
fair
friend,
enough.
a friend of mine in
Yeah.
in Saskatchewan. My friend Dean McNeil is a trumpet player and teacher
Yeah.
there. Has been working on a treatment for a stage production of Notes on Montreal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for quite a while. We may yet do it.
Whoa.
But myself, like, well, the nature of my teaching gig
Mm-hmm.
at Selkirk is such that it's everything I can do not to drop the ball on that job. Like they treat us extremely well. The conditions are extremely good.
Great.
No situation's ever treated me so graciously and so
that's
well.
nice.
And it's everything I can do to, like, I put this record together. This is the first record I made. This is my 7th year teaching at the place.
Yeah.
And I'm going to work real hard getting the next one together, but it was everything I could do to get this one out. And I
Right.
would love to. I would really love is if somebody did one for me.
Right. Yeah. For you.
And I
yeah.
could just
yeah. So you could just
oh
sell the
yeah,
rights
and
to
just
it. Yeah.
you keep all the debt that you incur from it, because it won't be money that you make
course,
from it. And I'll come to the premiere and
I just
clap
think
extra loud for you.
I could just see it working really well, like where you could have it as a full blown musical, or you could have it as kind of like a pantomime with a live band.
That'd be so fun, man.
I just think it would work so well. Like, it just lends itself. You have these characters.
I've always
these opportunities for costume and everything.
That's
like,
definite-
and people
I-
would eat it up.
I've thought about doing the
Yeah.
premieres in costume, like Sun Ra style type of thing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
I really did, but then
Yeah.
so I'm 50. I just turned 58.
Okay.
And I got 2 kids. They're like 21 and 23, 21 and 24, and the job and the next record, and it's just like there's no place for me to put it in my life.
Yeah.
I wish there was, but
Yeah.
when I'm done
Yeah.
this job,
Yeah.
which someday I will be,
Yeah.
then I fully plan to do a couple of things like that. Totally.
Yeah. I just think I think it would be great, and
Because I just love mixing narrative with music. You know?
totally. And I think it's just, I just find it so refreshing, because and it's not that it's not that it's like less serious than what other people are making, but I just think that it's more adventurous.
I try and take
title,
a chance or two.
But I think it's adventurous, and I think it's you're taking your opportunity to be weird, because I think that especially jazz musicians, they have this capacity for weirdness in their creativity,
which they so seldom exploit in their professional output.
Maybe for 2 bars of 7/8 in their tune or something,
that's right.
But not on the whole record.
No, that's right.
And not kind of
and so many of them could when you get talking to them.
I know.
Yeah.
And some of them do, I feel like there's some people out there who will kind of like how actors think of one for them and one for me.
That's almost what like every second album I make it a more serious jazz record.
Yeah, okay,
to kind of dip one toe back into the credibility pond and then go, okay, now I'll go do the thing I want to do. And
it's kind of
hopefully over time it all adds up.
Yeah, like with like Kurt Rosenwinkel making his like Brazilian
I saw
record.
that band.
Yeah, and then then like another like more straight ahead one comes out after that. And but that's such cool stuff. And I feel like what people like fail to realize about those records that are more out there, or like like Pat Metheny orchestrion album, right? Like it's not what that artist for, but they're like letting themselves like go off in as creative a direction as they can because they can afford to.
Yeah, and I think when they come back to the thing they're more known for, it doesn't feel as dishonest as it would if they just kept themselves to it. Like they can really mean it when they come back to their main thing.
Totally, yeah. But I also think that it's just like it's almost like a gift to the listeners, where it's like something that's way more out there. It's like it's rife for using it as inspiration. Right? Because like you can obviously be inspired by Pat Metheny playing changes, but you can also think like, oh, how can I emulate what he's doing on this other more weird project? How can I express myself?
It gives you license to be broader in
how can I go more in that direction? Just as far as like my capacity to create and do something interesting.
That's right.
And so that's I really like this record, man.
I
think
very
it's
grateful
really
that you
cool. And I could tell that you really enjoyed making it too.
Oh yeah,
you can really hear it, right?
Oh, I got to give you the liner notes. I'm almost prouder of them than I am of the songs, because I made it my life's mission on those. I wrote these copious liner notes for the thing, in which the goal was to sort of prove to the listener that I have lost my mind, and
right.
I read
the Uncle Mike persona.
The Uncle Mike persona. Yes.
Sure.
Oh yeah, and he's like. There's this tune about a UFO crashing, right?
Yeah.
Which, so by the way, these are all places I lived, except for
and that one's that one's in first person.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it was on a base that really existed and no longer does.
Oh wow!
And
is there a historic UFO sighting there? No. Okay.
You know what? I've heard since then that there is, but any place where the sky is big and people could receive the X-Files on TV, they started, or they whatever.
Right.
People have been seeing stuff in the skies forever, so
you
can always dig it up. Oh, how I wish there was.
Right.
Right. Oh my God, I wish there was. But that base really did exist. I really did live on it, and they really did close it down. It had nothing to do with UFOs. Oh my God, I wish it did. But
that's what they're making you say on the podcast.
I have to officially for the men in black came to see me.
Right.
No, what I was going to say was in the liner notes I say like. To this day, the official position of the government of Canada is that these events never transpired.
Yeah, perfect.
However. I exhort you to demand the truth from your members of parliament and I give a phone number, right?
No way.
Yeah. And,
that's so good.
And then I put the phone number I found to put in there, though. If you call it, what you get is a thing that lets you punch a number and it gives you your favorite, whichever Hall & Oates tune you want to hear. It's called Call & Oates. Yeah. I was going to put like the real phone number of Parliament, and then I thought the last thing I need is some drunk friend of mine annoying someone down at the House of Parliament with about it. just as an inside joke or something. No.
Yeah.
Instead, they can listen to whatever tune from Hall & Oates they like.
That's pretty smart. That's pretty good. I like that a lot. I mean, yeah. So you're a writer, man. You're
thank you.
You're writing fiction. You're taking from your like true biography and then
mixing it together with
you're sort of an L. Ron Hubbard of sorts.
Yeah, I should start a cult.
Yeah.
I mean a highly legitimate organization that never hurt anyone.
No, of course not.
Geez, this recording's going to get me in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I remember reading is that Leonard Cohen briefly flirted with Scientology.
Oh, sure.
You know the tune "Famous Blue Raincoat"? It's a really beautiful Cohen tune.
Yeah.
And in it, he talks. There's a line that night that you tried to go clear.
Yeah.
Did you ever go clear? And that's just pure Scientology.
Wow.
It's from Dianetics or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Huh. Well, yeah. I feel like you get out to L.A., you're exposed to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and he was a real chaser of anything numinous.
Yeah.
Anything from the world of the spiritual. Myself, I'm a pretty inspired atheist.
Right.
But the only thing that kind of stinks about us atheists is we suck for lore.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
it's like we got what, Galileo.
Oh yeah, there's great stories about brave atheists through the years, but there's also terrible atheists. Like Joseph Stalin is not a good look for us, right?
Yeah,
Killed 10 million of his own people.
You have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I borrow liberally from my.
Yeah.
I'm kind of grateful I was raised Anglican that way because it's what did Richard Dawkins calls it, the weakened strain of the virus.
What, the Anglican Church as opposed to the Catholic Church?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just non-fundamental, but you still get the stories and the
sure. Yeah. That's true.
I like the Anglicans. They're a good bunch.
They're mild. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
The Catholicism mild.
Yeah, that's right. And even most of the Catholics are cool. I think it's just anybody who doesn't, both the Anglicans and the Catholics have caused their share of real mayhem in the world. But
of course,
the ones I was exposed to were always cool.
Yeah. In my opinion, most people are cool.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And it's hard for me to remember my own. I had a friend who used to say, "Nobody's tribal rituals are crazier than your own."
Of course. Yeah, that's really great. Actually, that's true.
Yeah, she was a wise one.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So you're talking about making another record?
Yeah, maybe I think not this summer, but the following summer.
Nice.
And more than that, I don't know yet. Except that I need to practice a lot for it, and get a whole bunch of new stuff into my playing. I developed some pretty serious hand trouble starting in about 1993.
Okay.
And it's never quite ever been the same since.
Really?
So I had to kind of cut a deal. That's one of the other reasons why I like to take things off in these different directions and then just play the same 12 licks over all of it, because you recontextualize it and you can't get busted for it, right?
Right.
But my hands only seem to have a limited number of practice hours in them in a week before they start tingling while I'm asleep at night. And
interesting.
Kind of had to make my peace with it. In fact, it's that for that reason, I was very grateful to be able to meet and study with Jim Hall for that reason, because he kind of gave you a way to age gracefully think of this as more of a painting where you're making choices and it's not all about your ability to stand and deliver these complex technical concerns.
I feel like that makes a lot of sense coming from a guy like Jim Hall, because to my understanding of his conception of the guitar is that it was just it was an orchestra, but like it was a was like a
he thought like an arranger for sure.
Yeah, it was a severely lowly attended orchestra.
Right.
Just have 6 people who showed up, and you just work with what you have. Yeah,
and did he ever? My God, I can't believe how beautiful he sounds. Like how much he does with what he does.
Exactly, yeah.
There's everything that I love about all my other favorite guitar players is there in Jim Hall.
Yeah.
Just sort of distilled,
Yeah. Like he's so efficient.
Yeah.
He's so and
all
tasteful.
the feeling across.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's very economical. He doesn't spend a lot of energy clearing his throat and wasting your time. He's amazing at that. He's
Yeah, and he I mean, I never knew him, but I feel like he was able to kind of really he played with the absolute best of the best, and held his own in all these incredible situations.
Oh, yeah. He came up with a bunch of stuff too,
Yeah.
Like that whole, to me, he's like, there's a quote, I can't remember where he said it, but John Abercrombie is known to have said, like, well, all I was ever trying to do was imitate Jim Hall,
Totally.
And you see there's like some early clinic stuff that Schofield did where he talked about the importance of about Jim's importance, and I feel like one of these days I want to base a PhD thesis on this.
Yeah,
that you had the instrument, and if you go back to say whatever Eddie Lang, there's a lot of pick.
Yeah,
there's the resonators are thick and they have a lot of inertia, and you've got to beat the crap out of them to get a sound.
Yeah.
And so that's very physical instrument, and then over time, the amp starts to do more of the work. The action comes down, the strings lighten up, and now it's more the left hand that's creating the articulation.
Right. Yeah.
And that really goes well with what we see happening from in the swing feels of the horn players as they start to become more and more fluid, and the way that interacts with the way the drummers are now becoming more and more a part of the solo. Tony Williams.
Well,
thing,
and I guess you could say that coincides with recordings, being able to isolate recordings more.
Yes, yeah.
So you have isolation on the saxophone, you have isolation on the drums.
You can really hear.
And so you hear, I was showing a student Idle Moments by Grant Green.
Yeah.
And those recordings of Grant Green are just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Those Blue Note recordings. And what I described to her was it sounds like you're an ant on the fretboard.
Yeah.
And you're just watching him play.
Yeah.
It's like
That's a really
like
nice
this
way of
microscopic level of detail.
Yeah.
To being able to hear him play. And if you hear anything that an electric guitar player was doing even like 5 years before that, it's nothing even close to that, because the recording technology just wasn't the same. And like, I don't think people were, but yeah, like they were really like isolating this sound.
Yeah.
Right. And also guitar is like 10 years behind everyone else, so,
in vocabulary and which is a mixed blessing for us.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why, John Schofield playing Joe Henderson stuff in 1977 was a big deal,
Right. It takes us a while to feel the courage to transliterate some of that vocabulary over onto the guitar.
Yeah. I know, and yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that actually. Like, I think that guitar has this. It has its idiomatic vocabulary, right?
Yeah.
And you're not afraid to pull some of that out, like some of those like Jimi Hendrix style double stops
here and there,
and and I think those are awesome. And
I love that stuff.
Yeah. And it's funny that like you don't run into it as often with jazz guitar, because I feel like there's this need to.
We have to put a wall between. Don't mistake us for that other group of guitar players.
Yeah.
Because man, you listen to those guys and like, if you put me on one of those instruments, I can't begin to play the way those guys play.
Way.
Like it's just a universe that I can't enter, right?
Yeah.
But that's also been a side effect of my tendonitis, right? Is that now this is like my 7th album or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm running out of stuff to play.
Yeah.
And if I want like a bluesy type feel, sometimes I'll just play a blues thing, which I always found it interesting the way, like speaking of Grant Green, I'll often explain it to students like, okay, well, 3, 2, 1, like flat 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
If you're, let's say you slide from the 2 up to the flat 3.
Yeah.
If you're Grant Green, you slide that.
Yeah.
And if you're B.B. King, you bend it.
Yeah.
Right. But it's the same piece of language.
Yes.
But the one that's happened through the lineage that's happened through Grant Green. To me, what's happened was, and I don't know, I make up a lot of stories for myself to explain what I think might have happened. But you had blues music coming out of the blues scene.
Yeah.
With blues singers who had portamento because they're vocalists. And guitar players who are using slides and bending strings.
Yes.
And they're not afraid to do that. That's a real gutsy sound. But at the same time, you have this high society thing where people are going and playing in dance orchestras and stuff. Now, there's still blues involved in that, but it needs to be sanitized so that the blue bloods don't throw you out of the club when you play. It can't sound too much like the bar room, right?
Right.
So we'll slide into that note.
Yeah.
We'll beep beep beep. You get jazz guitar. I often call it jazz guitar disease, where you go beep beep beep, and you slide into a note from below that. You know how like a lot of young blues players they can't shut their vibrato off.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of us jazz guys can't shut the slide off.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
And I know myself.
Well, when you think about a fretted instrument like the guitar, like a slide guitar is basically not a fretted instrument, right?
Yeah.
So, but a fretted instrument is going to work without sliding. Is going to work pretty much the same way that a piano does.
Keyboard. Yeah.
And so that could probably also be it, where it's just like he's bending, quote unquote, bending a note the way that a pianist would
in as
bend
much as
a note.
like Floyd Kramer style.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or even just Oscar Peterson.
That's right.
Just falling into the note in that way.
That is a bend on those instruments.
Exactly. Yeah. It's good as you can do.
But it does cause a completely different vibe in the music.
Of course, yeah.
It places that bluesy cry at a kind of dispassionate distance, just gives a little.
Oh yeah.
And I think it had. I don't know if it had to be, but I think my guess is that came out of the separate dance scenes. And maybe the instruments being played.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a hunch.
I think it's a pretty educated hunch.
As a teacher, I do a lot of educated hunches. I do the old, Socrates sometimes waves his hand and says, this or something very like it must be true.
Right? Yeah.
I've never bothered looking further into it than this because this is memorable and seems about right.
Yeah, it's just you can rely on this being basically what happened.
If it wasn't this, it was something pretty much like it.
Look, who are you going to ask?
I hope
Not
so.
Socrates?
Yeah.
Well, trust
maybe.
me.
He had his share of critics.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny when you talk about Jim Hall. There's a guy who would bend strings.
He was not averse to that. Yeah. Oh my God! Nobody makes a guitar sound like gut buckety.
Well, he would bend. He would bend from above. He would pre-bend.
Yes, he'd do pre-bends.
Pre-bend like a trombone.
The other thing you catch him doing too sometimes. I can't think of where is classical style vibrato. Where you keep the finger in place and just wiggle
like a violin.
It. Yeah.
Like Django Reinhardt.
Yeah. Instead of BB style vibrato.
Yes.
And they're very different fish from one another.
Yeah, they're very different.
It's amazing how much difference there can be just playing some wires stretched across a plank.
Well, that's why I think Jim Hall is so amazing, because I think, again, like with an he had an arranger composer's mind.
Yeah,
and he only had facility on the guitar, and so. Although I couldn't say, maybe he did a facility on other instruments. As far as I'm aware, he only played the guitar. But I feel like he was able to come up with a lot of things that were specifically idiomatic to the guitar, but weren't cliche.
No, he does them with such focus that they're purely his own when they come out somehow.
Yeah, using open strings and using harmonics and that kind of thing.
There's so much thought and intent behind all of his actions. They were all choices.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that works, because when other people are that, in somebody else I would say they were being precious. In his case, it's like, no, this is just really beautifully thought out and integrated, and it all adds up to this beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I mean, at the same time, it's like nobody was more kind of in the lane of being a jazz guitar player during his time than him.
Yeah,
and so you can't really question it. He played with freaking Bill Evans, dude.
Sonny Rollins. Those are beautiful records, man.
Yeah.
The older I get, too, the more I like all of them. I always liked them, but I was walking by the class the other day, and Dave Restivo was playing the bridge to his jazz history course, and I heard it and jumped into the room, and it never stops surprising me. I think it's a part of my brain, I can't keep sounds in my head, I have to reacquaint myself all the time. And it keeps surprising me. All my favorite players keep surprising me.
Yeah. And well, I also, that record is really great. And I also think that it's a good example of a pretty rare instrumentation.
Yeah.
Which is quartet with guitar and tenor saxophone.
Yeah.
You don't get that very often.
No.
There's some great records that have it, but like it's hard to pull off.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's because Sonny wanted a little more space than a piano would leave him.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think Jim knew that.
Yeah.
And gave it to him.
Totally.
You know?
And he was playing stuff that was very prescribed, right? Like especially on what's the title track? Without a Song.
Yeah.
Or not a title track, but the
first track, yeah.
And he's doing that same like a descending triad thing at the end of it, and it's just like, you know, having those kind of predictable things about the arrangement.
I often wonder what he would have done, because you know those voicings he plays in there are just perfect. Like something about because it's going to do that 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
and the voicings for them, I've never sat down and figured them out, but it feels to me like they're slightly different voicings than we normally use. And like they have a double third or something like that, and they're light and they're transparent.
Yeah.
And if he had chosen different voicings, it would not have worked.
Yeah, and you might be right. Yeah,
I can remember
probably
asking
very
him,
carefully. Yeah,
that's right. And there's only so many that fit inside the hand handily.
That's the other thing about the guitar. Yeah.
And I asked him one time, like, you know, do you ever get a place in a tune that you've written or that you're working on an arrangement, and there's only one voicing that satisfies you for it, and you can't stand how much you're going to have to repeat it to play the tune? And he said, oh, it's a story of my life. And so he took this tune I had written, this tune on my first album called For Sunny Greenwich.
Cool.
And I said, what would you do with this? Because I had this, you know, there's a beautiful voicing. I always associated with the guy I got it from, which was Greg Clayton, my old teacher in Montreal. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful guitar player. He's still there. Mm-hmm. He was one of the really last 5-night-a-week restaurant guys. He knows every tune you could possibly name, you know. And you know that was a voicing that's on all the strings except for 6. And like, let's say it was an F13 flat 5, and it's like E flat, A, D, G, B. You know, F13 sharp 11.
Yeah.
Right? With no root.
Yeah.
Now, it was one of those. Yeah. And I can't think of a voicing that I like the weighting of better than that for like jazz language that comes up all the time. I wish I didn't have to repeat it so much, because like once you know it, it's hard not to use it too much, right? And that was the one I had in that tune. And so I said, so let's say it's this voicing. Play through this tune and use other voicings. And he took a stab at it. And what he did was the first time that moment in the tune went by, it was an AABA type tune or something like that. And first time that went by, he didn't harmonize it.
Okay.
Right? No chord that time.
Okay.
Second time it went by, he used like a dyad that had that note in the melody, the same note in the melody. Then there was a bridge. Third time, bang. Right. Now that, speaking of thinking like an arranger.
Yeah, he's developing it.
He's like, don't just keep your powder dry there, kiddo.
Wow.
Right? The trick isn't to find other voicings. You've got the one that is the only one you dig.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll find one someday in the Ted Green book. Good luck to you, kid. But meanwhile, you've got other resources you can deploy. Use them, you know.
Yeah. That's just storytelling. That's just good
right.
understanding.
Don't paint yourself into a corner.
Yeah, don't blow the ending at the beginning.
Now, how many times have I remembered to think that way since
of course,
that lesson? I can count it on one finger.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, you know, and that's a guy who... when were you studying with him?
That was 1996, 95, 96. Yeah.
Wow, great.
Yeah. It was amazing.
In New York?
Yeah, I met him at Banff. The one year I went to Banff was the one year they had Jim Hall there.
Whoa.
And it said, like, guitar teacher, TBA. And I didn't know who it would be, and I thought, whoever it is will be awesome. Yeah. And I got there, and they're and I'm like, it's who? And and then, you know, we got along really well, and then so then I filled out some... I applied twice to get grants to go study with. The first time they didn't give it to me, and the second time they did.
Awesome.
And I went and made my first album while I was down there. It was like incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So grateful for that.
And so you were there for a year or so, or
across about 3 years, I was there for 1 year. So, and so prior to that, I had been down there for a few months on a short-term grant, getting some lessons with Jack Wilkins.
Okay.
And so those were, and by like my fourth day in New York, I was like, okay, I will not be ever being here except under the auspices of some granting organization. It's just too. Well, first of all, I don't have the paper to stay there, right?
Well,
It's not, and I'm too much of a fraidy cat to try and fly in the face of what immigration wants me to do.
Right.
Second of all, I saw the way that jazz musicians. Yeah, if we're lucky enough to get to play a lot of music, we're very privileged people, right?
Absolutely.
Then our families, you often can help us out and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I looked at what even those relatively privileged people were having to live like, and I just went, I want to go back to Montreal.
It's a grind. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a grind out there, yeah.
And it was amazing artistically. And I think also I could sense that as much as I love the music, at that point, my hands were still a problem for me. I'm like, okay, I'll do something good with my music, but I'm not going to try and live down here and play at Smalls the week after Rosenwinkel did or whatever. Like, this is not. Yeah. I'll do different things. And then later I was like, okay, I'll write about a sea monster.
Yeah,
I'll do my thing instead.
And that's great. And that's awesome. And. Yeah, no, I actually really get what you're saying about New York, though. I had a similar experience, actually. I was able to get a grant in 2017, and I studied with Peter Bernstein.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was only there for 2 months.
Yeah.
But it was a good
He's marvelous, eh? Isn't he incredible?
He's such a great teacher.
Yeah.
He's, and the thing is, like, it was never anything, obviously it wasn't anything structured, because I was just sort of like barging into his life every week or so for that time, and just being like, okay, what? And he would just start playing a tune, and we would just sort of take it from there.
Yeah.
Right. But I learned some amazing lessons from him, just because he's like such a pro.
Yeah.
And like, he's and he was also just so gracious, and he would put me on the guest list to go to his shows and stuff. What was Jim? I mean, Jim would have been quite a bit older than Pete was when I was studying with him, like when you were studying with him. But what was his? Was he playing quite a bit in New York?
Well, he had not for quite some time. When I got down there, it had been years apparently since he had played there. And when I got there, by sheer coincidence, he had just released this album called. I think it was called Dialogues, maybe.
Okay.
And it's him in a rhythm section plus two tracks with each of 5 different guests.
Yes.
Right? So this is Joe Lovano, and it's Bill Frisell, and Gil Goldstein. So at that point, to promote that, he did 6 nights in a row, or 5 nights, I think, at the Vanguard.
Great.
I think what it was 6, and the 7th, and so the 5 nights he had each of those guests one night. So he had Frisell one night, Mike Stern one night, Gil Goldstein one night, Joe Lovano one night, Tom Harrell one night.
Wow.
And then a night of trio.
Wow.
Yeah,
great.
and I went to every single one.
Great.
And I stayed through both sets.
Yes.
And so then I made, because my teacher, long before McGill, like at McEwen in Edmonton, had been this wonderful musician who people outside Edmonton almost never get to find out about, but he did like all the session work and stuff on the prairies for 70s and 80s. His name was Bobby Cairns. Okay. And he was really great guitar player, and he had been a student of Jim's, and so he always was talking to us about playing motivically.
Right.
Bobby was really obsessed with that. And he kind of had even though he had a ton of vocabulary, he was not a fan of us learning licks.
Licks, yeah.
Which I couldn't quite figure out why. One day I asked him about that, and he said, well, the thing is, I learned a bunch of those licks off those guys, and then when I finally got to play with Joe Pass and Barney Kessel, they weren't impressed that I knew their licks. They wanted me to play some music of my own, Yeah. And I get it, but what it meant is that he had spent so much time kind of drumming this motivic thing into my head that I felt I had a lot of questions because I knew it was coming largely from Jim.
Right.
And so okay, I'm gonna and I had all these questions about motivic playing already for Jim. Plus, then more questions. I wrote them down right when I got home from the gigs.
Right.
About what is this? What is that? What is this?
Interesting.
And so yeah, it was marvelous. I got to ask him all that stuff in the weeks right after that in the lessons.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it was incredible.
Yeah, what a gift to be able to see that.
Oh my God, yeah.
And those
so inspiring.
Yeah. Especially when it's duo. Duo is so exposed.
Well, those were him and his rhythm section.
Oh, it's with the rhythm section.
Guest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to play duo for those nights.
Yeah, duo is tough.
Yeah.
I play a lot of duo.
We wind up
days.
playing so much more duo than we realize we're going to when we're sitting around listening to these guys play quartet and trio.
Totally,
and quintet.
yeah. And it's such a different feeling.
It really
is. Such
is.
a different feeling to play with the rhythm section.
And boy, it makes your time so much better. And
Yeah.
It really makes you strong.
Yeah. Especially when you're playing with a really good band. Yeah. Like you're going to be playing with
those
Jody.
guys. Yeah, it's true. I got to practice tonight because otherwise I can't keep up with them at all, man. It's I'll have to get to it tonight when I get back to their place.
I think it'll be great. I'm going to try to come to one of those. Is it both Friday and Saturday, or is it just Friday?
No, it's just Friday. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try to come out to Friday.
One good one.
Yeah. Do you have any other plans to come to Vancouver after this weekend, or?
You know what? I am going to come. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I might be doing one of the Deep Cove Coffee House gigs for John Lyon.
Okay.
In March or April or something like that.
Okay, cool.
I think. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you keep mentioning Edmonton. Are you from Edmonton originally?
I'm from all over Canada because my dad was Air Force.
Oh, okay.
And I went to high school and college in Edmonton.
Yeah.
And then I lived here for 4 years, Victoria for a year, Ottawa for 3 years, Montreal for 20 years across a 30-year period because there were 3 different spells.
Yeah.
And then that's all after my childhood. In childhood, I moved as well.
Right.
It's a mixed bag.
So that's why. Okay.
That's Edmonton connection. That's where I was in high school, and then I went right to college right out of there, and then I moved to Montreal. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to be going to Edmonton in March.
Oh, awesome!
To play a couple of shows.
Going to play at the Suite?
No, not at the Suite. No.
Where at?
There's a couple other
the Blue Chair
things happening. I don't know where.
Oh, cool.
I need to see.
Who are you playing with, man?
My friend B-Boye Onanuga.
Oh, he's great. That guy.
He's a drummer out there. We've gotten to know each other over the last couple of years. I actually wrote a review of a record of his like years ago.
Yeah.
For Rhythm Changes.
Yeah.
And we kind of created a connection then, and then he came to play a show in 2024, and then he asked me to play with him.
Wonderful.
And so we've had that connection, and then last year we played at the Jazz Fest together, and he's now like really kind of running stuff in Edmonton.
I know.
And so he just said like, hey, if you're ever in Edmonton, like let me know. I can set you up with some work.
Oh, you'll have fun.
So I'm going to check out.
Wait a minute. Did you say it was in March?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be there for 1 week in March. When are you going to be there?
I think the third week of March, probably between the 15th and 20th.
No, I'm going to be there taking care of some family stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention. I don't know if I told you this before in our chat. I think I have your old job.
Are you at Arbutus?
Yeah.
No way.
I have your old job.
I hope you handle it better than I did.
Well, so far so good.
I guess it's a pretty sweet gig.
It's a nice gig. Yeah. I can't complain.
Is the dining room still really good? I love the food from that place.
Yeah, they call it the Bistro.
That's right.
I believe there's 3 restaurants in that place now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's they call it the Bistro, and then the Bistro also has a coffee shop in it. But there's a sports bar, and then there's like a fancy restaurant.
All right. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And they still have that, and you still have to take your food down to that little break room.
Yeah, I usually eat just in my teaching room, but yeah, the break
never even occurred to me to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to mess that room. You still in that with the glass brick?
The glass.
There was the room I was in was like this oval shaped room with a glass brick wall at Arbutus. No. They must have changed some things.
They've done a lot of renovating in the last 10 years or so, I think. I've been there for almost 4 years now.
Marlise still there? Marlise McCauley still there?
No.
Oh, she was kind of my boss.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. No, the person I deal with is is named Megan. She's about my age.
Okay.
But it is really great. It is a really great gig. And the funny thing about working there, maybe you found this, is that, well, when was it that you were working there? In the early 2000s or so?
Yes, exactly. Like 2002 to 4, basically.
Okay, yeah.
Type of thing. 2001 to 2004. Yeah.
Actually, tell me this. Do you remember having a student who was a judge?
Maybe. I'm thinking of one guy that might have been a judge.
So I have a student who was a judge, and I think he said he took lessons briefly, and then he stopped, and he's back taking lessons.
Really? This is probably the guy that I bugged too much to. Don't get in trouble with the law in Vancouver. I'll get that dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, he's a sweetheart.
I found myself at that point. I was in because I had 2 small kids.
Right.
And I was playing a lot, and I was teaching in other places, and I was and I was getting really. It was a bad time for me as a teacher. I was getting really impatient with students a lot.
Oh, sure. Okay.
And, and I went and I took a driving lesson because Russ Botten gave me, like said, pay me back when you can, a car, like a used car.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah, because he likes to fix things up. So he knows what he's doing. He knows a good deal. So he bought this thing.
Oh, great.
I'd got him paid back in about a year or whatever. But meanwhile, it was a stick. And I didn't know how to drive a stick.
Okay.
So I had to learn. So... why did I tell you all this? Because
you said you were being impatient with students.
I was being impatient with students.
Yep.
Thank you. And so I bought driving lessons from this driving school over near the Arbutus Club.
Okay. Yep.
And the driving teacher was really impatient with me, like unbelievably impatient with me. And then at the end of his day, at the end of my lesson, I had him drop me at Arbutus because I had to start teaching.
Oh, okay.
And I just got out of the car and just felt like I'd been worked over by thugs, and then it changed my teaching from then on.
Really?
Like, be more patient. Don't be that guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think, I think I learned to be patient early in my teaching career. Because I feel like, it pays the bills. Like,
yeah.
If you're impatient, like when you're doing that kind of work.
I think I had been in the racket too long at that point.
Maybe, yeah.
And I was not it was because I had gone through being more patient prior to that, but just the forces going to work on me.
Things going on.
Yeah. And then so that was a good little wake up call. It's like, this is how you're making your students feel, Mike.
Sure.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah. I mean, the stakes maybe aren't as high when you're learning how to play guitar as they are learning how to drive.
But I was acting as though they were. Right.
Yeah,
and it's like, we're not curing any major diseases here, Mike. We're learning how to play tunes.
Absolutely.
It should be fun, for crying out loud.
Yeah. I definitely switched over to a not results-based education philosophy.
Process-based.
Yeah. Enjoyment-based.
Yeah, totally, man.
Making it sustainable, making it something you want to do. Because so many of my students will tell me, especially the adult students that I have. I have a good number of adult students there, and a lot of them will tell me, I took piano lessons as a kid and I hated it.
Yes, you hear this so often.
Yeah.
Because there was a whole piano industry.
Yes.
That was really circumscript. Like, it has to be by this exact book, know? And it just, it scarred people.
It messed people up.
Yeah.
I've never heard people talk about being traumatized from learning music.
That's
more
right.
than people telling me about their piano lessons.
So this has to be that there's a whole bunch of piano teachers then that were butthurt that they weren't on the concert circuit.
Sure.
Because they had been taught
be
by people whose standards were so high, because that's who there was. There was this, people who that's what they were training you for. And then there's just not that much work doing that. So now you're going to be teaching little kids.
Yeah.
And have fun with them. That's what they're there for.
Yeah. Well, you're capable of being you're capable of creating these really great memories for kids when you have that responsibility. But the other thing, I think it's easy to forget, especially with kids and when they're young, is that often when you're teaching one-on-one lessons, these kids don't have experience with being in a room alone with another adult that isn't a parent or a doctor they're a teacher at school or something like
Right.
that. You're like, this is a very specific situation that they're in.
Yeah.
And you probably have a lot more influence over them than you realize.
Yeah. And they're good at not letting on how much you have.
Yes.
So you'll start laying it on thicker.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing, is that kids will learn how to cope really quickly.
Dissemble.
Yeah. And so, I think it's very, it behooves you as a guitar teacher to like overestimate how much influence you have on.
Now you got me thinking back over the last couple of weeks. I feel like I spend a lot of my time, because we have a very heavy curriculum.
Okay.
In the guitar department.
Sure.
As so many of these guitar departments do.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've had to spend most of my time just going, you're going to be fine with this. Just, like,
Yeah.
I can tell it's going to be great. What are you worried about? Just do it every day. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're already good at this. Just keep going.
That's great advice. Do it every day is such good advice.
Just do this all the time.
Yeah.
Don't take no for an answer. And it doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to tell you what I really think.
Yeah.
If I can tell you've been working, I'm going to give you a good grade.
Yeah.
And 10 years from now, I'll be begging you for a gig at whatever thing you're running.
Well, that's
right?
that's so funny because I remember when I was at CAP, when I first got there, I couldn't read music and I was completely self-taught. So the last guest on this podcast, Ron Samworth, was my first guitar teacher.
He's
ever.
great. Yeah.
And I'm really, in retrospect, I am grateful that he was my first guitar teacher because he's such a sweetheart. But I wasn't ready for a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just didn't have a lot of stuff together. I had a good ear.
Yeah.
Right. And I wanted to do it. I didn't have any formal musical training. And so, he became like, there was a point where there was some friction and he was, disappointed in what I hadn't been able to get together yet. Obviously in retrospect, I just didn't know how to practice properly. And but I was able to buckle down and work on it. And I took the curriculum more seriously and I worked on it and I got better. And then a couple years go by and I have a year where I take, cause I did 5 years. So one of those years I didn't do primary PMI and I did secondary PMI instead.
Yeah.
And so one of those secondary PMIs was with Bill Kuhn because that's all I could manage to get a lesson. He was so busy at the time and he was also like in the middle of getting his own master's degree.
Oh, I remember
part
that.
of when I was there.
Yeah, from SFU.
So I just got like a little bit of time with Bill and then I also took secondary with Jody Prosnick.
Oh, wonderful.
And we just played tunes. Right.
Yeah.
In our first lesson, up to that point, like I was really like, laser focused on my degree.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish it this time, and I'm gonna be able to get everything. And for her, in our first lesson, she's just like, I'm gonna give you an A. Don't worry. We're not doing this. We're not doing this thing.
Oh, wow.
We're not doing this thing of like me judging you.
Yeah.
We're both musicians. And we're just gonna play music together,
right?
And that was like the first moment where I was just like, no longer felt pressure being related to my performance in the music program, and it was, I think it was really, really important for me in that moment, because for someone that I looked up to, like Jody,
I'm going to treat you like a colleague.
Yeah.
Now let's get down to the stuff I can show you.
Yeah. And then I got better and I learned from her and I was very willing to learn from her.
So much stuff to learn from her.
Yeah. And that has carried through, that attitude has carried through to her teaching style at the VSO school now. And we talked about that on the podcast too, but, I
start similarly. I say, I'm going to give you an F. And there's nothing you can do about it. Don't feel any pressure because it won't change a damn thing. You're getting an F.
It's already determined, man. I just don't like you.
So let's play. Hey, what's the matter? Where are you going?
Yeah, exactly. Like you. Well, that's the other thing, right? Like you do have to worry a little bit about enrollment and retaining students.
Yeah.
And you do have to think a little bit in those terms when it is your business,
bread and butter.
all.
Yeah.
And, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Gee, we've got a good crop of them this year. Holy Hannah, we've got some strong guitar players.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's nice.
That's
really
nice.
nice.
That must be great to just have like, I have some guitar students myself, or jazz guitar students, but like a lot of them are just beginners, or like they're just trying to learn pop songs and stuff, and that's plenty fine to teach.
Yeah.
But like, when you have like a
couple of people that like,
they're
giving you a little bit of a run for your money on some things.
Yeah. It's
totally.
like, ooh, this is good. This is
I've
fun.
had that a bunch of times.
Yeah.
There's probably about a half a dozen guitar players over the last 30 years who I can never quite get them out of my mind. Like, there's one guy, he might be the main one that when I think of like that is Jordan Officer. I don't know if you know Jordan. This is what I find is that Jordan is much better known in Quebec and Europe.
Okay.
But look him up, Jordan Officer, and he's very much out of a kind of almost like a country swing bag, and a very, very much out of a Charlie Christian bag.
Whoa! Okay.
Which that was a huge thing for me, eh? Like in when I was, I think, 20, I lifted all the Charlie Christian.
Oh, cool!
I wrote it all. I mean, there's two that I keep in my hands just to show myself what I want swing to feel like.
Yeah.
Well, he went much further with that, and he does primarily down picks.
Wow.
And
okay.
really, like the Django guys do a bit.
Yeah.
Boy, he's a beautiful player.
Cool.
As a couple of times I've been able to do quite a bit of recording with him, and I've just watched him because he's primarily been a performer.
Yeah.
And I've just watched him do take after take after take of immaculate soul. Any one of which, if it was me, I'd be like, "That's the master take. Send it off. We're done. I'm going for a beer."
Yeah.
And he's like, no, he just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah.
Just check him out. He's beautiful, man.
Jordan Officer. Okay.
Jordan Officer, beautiful swing feel. Great traditional sounds. You were talking about the tone of the guitar on this album.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know which tracks are which, but one of those is a little boutique tube amp that Jordan lent me in Montreal to record with.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's like,
nice.
oh yeah, and as soon as we turned it on, we're like, oh.
I know there was one that had like this warmth to it. I can't remember which track it is, but
there's that one, and then at McEwen, in their studio, they had some really nice amps too.
Oh, cool.
And also some of it, I just brought my own Blues Junior in.
Sure.
Right, which I love that thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Working man's amp.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Man, I would love to keep talking.
Me too. I know we've already half an hour over here.
No, we're not over anything. I just have somewhere I need to be.
Me too.
But man, thanks for coming over and
thank you
and doing this like on pretty short notice too. So it was great.
My great pleasure, of course.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you play and hope we can do this again.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Say hi to our friend, the drummer there in Edmonton. Is it Biboye?
Yeah. I will.
Drummer.
I will. Yeah. I'll let him know.
Yeah, man.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Mike for joining me on this one. You can support Mike and his music by listening to it. His new record is called The Paranormal Adventures of Uncle Mike. He's got plenty of other records out there. One that was mentioned often was Notes on Montreal. That was his Juno Award-winning record. And if you want to know more about when people are in town playing shows, if you want to know more about their stories, there are hundreds of articles up there on rhythmchanges.ca, along with the gig list that will show you exactly what's going on at the jazz scene here in Vancouver every single week. So head on over to rhythmchanges.ca. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.